Hey guys, it's me, the Prez, Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk Media and co-host of the best hockey show on the internet, Puck Time. Today we have Buster Sports and Andrew McInnis. We're going to talk about all 5 of the hockey games. I'd like to bring my guests in now and get this show underway. Andrew, baby. You see that Marchand no-look goal last night?
You like that?
I asked myself, is it something he practiced all summer? I mean, it is practicable. You know, you're coming down the left wing, you cross over. I think it's something that he could have worked on. I thought it was honestly spectacular.
Well, Prez, I know you don't give a lot of credit to Halifax being a great, but we are making some great hockey players. In fact, a lot of guys like Taylor Hall, Jack Hughes are traveling to Halifax to train with McKinnon and Crosby and Marchand, and it's a great group of guys training together. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they have been practicing that and working on that in the off season. It's great.
Buster, only a person from Halifax would think that someone's going to Halifax to train with other people. Andrew, they're going to Halifax so that they can actually be alone and focus on training. When the population is 17, it's a great place to train. How are you, Buster?
3 of the top players, Prez.
Hey, I'm not talking to you anymore. How are you, Buster?
I'm good, Lawrence. Thank you for asking. And I did ask you earlier, but I hear that you had a good trip in Vegas and played some poker and did a little bit of winning. So good to hear that.
Yeah, my trip to Vegas took so much out of me that I actually can't do my hair. This is 2 days in a row wearing a hat. I am so lazy. It's unbelievable.
Well, I can't see you, so that works for me.
You know, there have just been some unbelievable. Yeah. I know you can't see me. There's just been some unbelievable goals scored this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Connor McDavid has 2 goals for the ages. That guy with the through the leg one-timer on Calgary. Then they had the behind the net wraparound lacrosse goal.
That was nice.
It's actually been unbelievable. Every night there's something exciting going on in hockey. And why shouldn't there be? It's the best sport on the planet.
Agreed.
Guys, you're our resident CFL experts. Playoffs begin. Both of you have had an outstanding season. Buster, you just won your 5-star in Canadian football. You know, this league really, it doesn't get a lot of love from the bettors south of the border, and I don't understand why. I mean, Andrew, this is probably the easiest sport to win at out of any sport on the planet.
Yeah, Prez, I mean, you and I spoke about this when I first joined the website and joined the company. It doesn't get a lot of attention. I think there's a lot of, opportunities to jump on lines early. I've seen line movement in the CFL that I haven't seen in any other league, honestly. And it's simply because the odds makers are so behind in what the teams are actually doing and what the result of the game is going to end up being like. So I have a play already up for this weekend. It's a 5% play for the semifinals. And, again, I think this number is going to move big time by the time the game starts on Sunday. So I recommend anybody that wants to bet on the CFL, get on this number early, and we'll cash another ticket in the Canadian Football League.
You know, Buster, a friend of mine who lives right down the road is the person that the books hire to do their Canadian Football League lines. And, that really should suggest why those lines are so weak. And that's no disrespect to my friend, but he's one guy. Usually these lines for the NFL and hockey and whatnot are done by a group of people. Computers are helping, but not in the Canadian Football League. One guy sends the lines through. So, this sport is just must play, and I don't understand why people aren't betting it.
Yeah, you know what, Prez? I've been betting it for as long as you can be able to bet it. It's we've been very, very successful. I know you say it's the easiest sport out there to bet. It's like money, but believe me, I've seen a lot of these guys in Vegas try to bet it without success. I think you have to know the game. It's a total different game, a 3-down game to the NFL game, but. Again, NFL is sexy. Everybody wants to do that. CFL, and I'll tell you right now, and I know we have cappers that have NASCAR. They do, of course, soccer is huge, and but CFL, it's money. So if I got 5,000 on Winnipeg +6 that wins outright like they did and win easy, I'll take that. What's the difference if I have 5,000 on New England?
I agree 100%.
It's all cash.
But
it's all cash, and
listen, most of our watchers, viewers, gamblers, customers, etc., they're not betting $5,000. They're betting to enjoy a game.
Agreed.
Those games really aren't on TV much. Although I was in Vegas this past weekend, and on Sunday I walked past a bunch of ESPN. On Sunday was actually showing a Canadian football game, which made me smile. Boys, let's get to it. It's puck time. It's hockey, and we got 5 games. We're going to talk about all of them. Let's start with the most ridiculous team, the New York Islanders. This team, they remind me a lot of the St. Louis Blues and what they did last year. I mean, they are deep. They have a lot of tier 2 talent, but a whole ton of it. All 4 lines. They are really good defensively. They're just a tough team to beat. And tonight they're hosting Toronto. It's basically a pick'em game here. But with that said, they have owned Toronto since the Tavares trade. Toronto's lost 2 in a row, and the Islanders, my God, I mean, in regulation, this team hasn't lost in weeks. Buster, where are you going in this game?
Yeah, you're right, Prez. The Islanders are looking great, and actually they've won 11 of 12. And that game that they lost, if you remember, they were playing Pittsburgh. They're up 3-0 in the third period. It's almost like they fell into the false sense of security, like they had, and you don't see an Islanders team do that. And then next thing you know, and we both know about this in hockey, is that it's 3-1. Next thing you know, it's 3-2, and it's like, oh shit, what's happening here? And they're in overtime and they lose. So, but that's their only loss in 12 games. They look at, like you said, Prez. They have all the makings of what, like a team. What we always talk about it. You need superstars in this league, but sometimes a team concept is the way to go. The Islanders have mastered it for now. They're playing great hockey. It's a long season. As far as going up against the Leafs, I see the Leafs finally did something I've been calling for every time I'm on the show, I think, is get rid of that Hutchinson. And Andrew, I know you had a lot of faith in him because of what he's done in the Marlies and all that. But again, me and the Prez are maybe just a touch older than you, and you see all the time where you can be a fantastic AHL goaltender, come to the NHL, and it's deer in headlights time. Or Buster, you could be just a second, Andrew. Or you could be a fantastic goaltender in the AHL and be a superstar. Unfortunately for Hutchinson, it just didn't work. Now this new guy they've got, Kanusko, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I'm not sure he's going to get his shot now. Because somebody has to take over, and you can't have Anderson playing 66 games again.
Okay, Buster.
At the end of the day,
Buster.
What's my pick? I know I tend to run on, so I will definitely be just watching this game tonight. If I had to lean, I'd lean the Islanders because Boston is looking high. Boston, we're here, and that's who Toronto plays next. So there might be a little bit of look ahead.
I think the look ahead is justified. Other than the fact that they're playing the Islanders and Tavares is going back there, and I think they really do want to win this game. Andrew, what do you like in this game without telling us some long-winded story? about a backup goalie that has no relevance to this game?
Well, it's a take about the team playing, but I mean, this is going to be a good hockey game. Prez, you mentioned the importance of it. I think that even though it's been a while since Tavares has been a part of the Leafs now, it still is an important game for them. I think it's so interesting if you look at all the New York Islanders wins that they have barely been like big favorites. That's what really confuses me is that, Carmine has talked about how he was a huge fan of this team at the start of the season. But if you look, like, throughout their entire win streak, it's been -110, -115, -120, and they're a plus price at some point. Like, the only team that they were actually a huge favorite against was Ottawa. So again, in this spot here, we're seeing them play Toronto. They're -105, and even as a Leafs fan, Prez, you can obviously agree that the Islanders are in way better form right now. I'm taking a shot here with the under 6, and I've been one to say these days that it's hard taking an under with the Maple Leafs, but the way I see it, besides a few of their games recently, they've actually been playing to the under, and at least themselves struggling to consistently score. So they need to get their defense going. And just to have a quick point to what Buster said about the whole goalie situation, I just don't think that Mike Babcock put Hutcherson in a position to succeed. I mean, you can't play your backups against all the good teams like Tampa, Vegas, Montreal, Florida, and so this Maple Leafs team has to come out and play a good defensive game no matter who's in nets, and their forwards have to back check. It's not just about the defenders. All Leafs fans love to blame when Jake Gardiner was there, Morgan Riley, and all these guys. It's about the forwards need to back check. So I'm going with the under.
We got
here.
5 games we're going through. I don't need to hear about shit that isn't related to betting on this game. I'm the host. I'll talk the shit. And speaking of which, I got a story for both of you.
Oh, okay, you got a story.
What? What? The irony of that.
Hey, life. I am a devoutly religious man, Andrew, because my attitude is if there is a God and he did have a religion, it would be the religion of irony, because he'd be bored out of his freaking mind sitting there watching the world go by. My girlfriend Vivian, I set up an account for her at Bet365. Now, guys, I'm not suggesting you go bet at Bet365. I don't get any money. I have no relationship with this company. Last night, we saw something that hasn't happened in 19 years. We saw a team up 4-0 and lose. And not only a team, but that would be the Boston Bruins. Bet365 has a deal where if a team scores 3 straight goals, you cash your ticket.
Wow.
My girlfriend cashed her ticket on Boston, and then Boston went on to lose the game. That's incredible, right? Yeah, so anybody who had...
And the cash out feature is pretty cool, too. And the cash out feature is pretty cool,
the cash out feature is incredible. But yeah, it's called early payout. And the same thing, it reminded me because Buster was talking about the New York Islanders-Pittsburgh game, and there was another example where you cashed a ticket on the New York Islanders and then proceeded to watch your team lose. New Jersey Devils -180 hosting Ottawa. The over and under is 6.5. I like the over in this game. I usually like overs between 2 bad teams. But now we have 2 bad teams and a goaltender that shouldn't even be in the league. Buster, what do you like in this game?
I'm with you, Prez. I like the over in this. Ottawa's 1-7 on the road. They got destroyed the other night, so you know that they're going to come around and have a little pride and play tonight. So you'll see some goals out of them. New Jersey played well. They had a 5-game road trip, went 3-2 on the road. They've been playing really well at home, been having some bad luck at home. I'm with you on that, and I'm also will go with New Jersey in regulation. I think it's maybe -110 or something. So those are my plays. I can't lay 185, obviously, but there it is. Short and sweet for your Prez.
Andrew, what do you like in this one?
I'm going to grab Ottawa here, +160. I think the Devils have been the definition of inconsistent. And, Ottawa has one bad game, then they have a good game again, one bad game. We saw them show that to us against Carolina. They won 4-1 in great fashion as plus 150 dogs. Then they go ahead and lose 8-2. So I'm not really too worried about that 8-2. This team has a short memory. They're playing for a draft pick, so each night's a new night for them, and I'll go with the value here. And can't really argue with your guys' lean to the over. Prez, you know how I feel, especially like you said. Two lower tier teams get together. I think we see some goals.
Philadelphia hosting Washington. Before we get into this game, I just want to make mention that you guys can head over to WagerTalk or Sports Memo. We have lowered the weekly price of our NHL to $69. There's no promo code required. That includes every handicapper that we have who does NHL. Andrew, Alex, Buster, myself, Carmine, Kevin Dolan, Dave Koken. You could get a week of any of our plays for only $69. Washington's minus 120 here, guys. We have a total of 6.5, and we have two really, really hot teams. The Flyers have won 4 in a row and 5 of 6. Washington has won 6 of 7, and they did lose to Arizona in a shootout. And as we're starting to find, losing to Arizona is not as bad as it used to be. This Arizona team is playing really good hockey. I'll just bottom line this flat out. I like the over in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring. Buster?
I would look at the over, but I won't be the over. The problem there is, I believe, is that there's 80% of the people on the over tonight, and sometimes that will always send me away from it. These two teams obviously can score goals. The two goaltenders playing tonight, Hart, Hopeby, they've been not the best, but if you look, they have been playing much better their last starts. There is going to be lots of offense. The over scares me away. Like you said, Prez, Flyers have won 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 now. They're on one of those. They're a very streaky club, the Flyers. They're at home. Washington has won, I think, 10 out of 12, and they haven't lost. You were talking about a team that haven't lost in regulation. They haven't lost in regulation since October 14th. So this is going to be a coin flip. I'm going to enjoy it and just watch.
Guys, we're obviously having a little bit of Skype issues today. There's a delay on Buster. There's nothing I can do about it unless I buy Skype and get them to fix it. And I'm short about $20. So, Andrew, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I just look at this matchup and I see a 13-2 Washington team and a 10-5 Flyers team, and I see one team that actually should have that record and one team that shouldn't. I like the Washington Capitals here at around a minus 110 number. This is too good to be true. Washington's the far better team. They've been putting up ridiculous numbers on a night-to-night basis. Philadelphia sure is on a streak right now, and I haven't really been liking to step in front of teams on streaks, but Washington is the real deal, and they have not just one or two guys that can score. They have a whole complete team that can get the job done. And when Holtby's playing tough, they're hard to stop. So I honestly think the Washington Capitals are the best team in the NHL right now. They're coming off a loss to the Arizona Coyotes, and like you said, it's not a loss to be ashamed of, but they've still been a solid team, and they're going to bounce back here. And you can't really go wrong with the over. It's gone over in 12 of their last 13 games overall, and they've won 10 of their last 12. So I'm going with the better team here at a really good price.
He's Andrew McInnis. You can get him at Sports Memo, Buster Sports. You can find him at WagerTalk. The Dallas Stars, man. There's frustration in Dallas, and it's largely based on the fact that Tyler and Ben are not scoring. But, man, this team has won 4 of 5. They've won 8 of 10. I don't understand what the frustration is for. Just mellow the hell out. Your scorers are going to score, and you're winning games. Shut up. They're playing Calgary. Calgary's won 2 of 3, 4 of 6. And I think at some point Calgary's going to go on a big run. The question is does it start tonight? They're minus 145, a total of 5.5. And Buster, I lean on the over in this game And I also really like Calgary in regulation.
I have no play on the total here, Prez, but I am with you on Calgary in regulation. Dallas has a really weird schedule here. They played Sunday in Winnipeg. Now they play in Calgary tonight. Then they fly to Vancouver for tomorrow, and then they come back on the weekend to play in Edmonton. And usually, I think I talked about this before, you usually don't play. You usually play the Edmonton Calgary each way, then out to Vancouver or vice versa. So Dallas has travel issues as it is. And listening to the Calgary, they've had a couple really good practices. Listen to the coach, what he has to say, and some of the beat reporters out there, and they're looking really good. I also agree with you again, Prez, about that they could be on a team that's going to run. I don't like what I saw from Dallas on Sunday. You got a 2-0 lead, and you lose the lead and blow it in overtime. Now you got to sit around, think about it. I don't like when teams do that. They have improved. They were 1-8 to start the year. Now like you said, they're 8 of their last 10. But my play for me is also Calgary in regulation in this game.
McInnis?
Yeah, I enjoy the regulation bet here because if you look at, I actually love how you said that about the Stars. Just let them play, let it come together, because the management and the CEOs and all these people are getting so mad at Sagan and Ben, but it'll come together. But what that should really tell us is that they're solely reliant on just those guys. Meanwhile, Calgary has had more goal separation than they ever have in years. Lindholm, Gaudreau, Monahan, so many guys that can score for them. And it seems like over at Dallas, so much pressure is just on a few guys. So at home here, I'll take Calgary, and I really do like the regulation to get those odds to a really good number. So Dallas will be a decent team, and they'll get their act together. But at home here, Calgary will get the job done.
Last game on tap, the Blackhawks on the road playing the Knights. Vegas is minus 228. And I'll bottom line this, guys. Chicago just beat Toronto. And the problem really is the line is just too juicy. I have to take a flyer on Chicago here. I think Vegas is a better team, but man, I'm getting like plus 210. Vegas was just on a long road trip on the East Coast. Just got home. They're going to be tired. I'm going to throw a little bit on the Blackhawks. What do you like, Buster?
I'm not going to agree with you here, Prez. Chicago, they still are having trouble allowing lots of shots, lots of offense against them. Toronto almost came back on the other night. This Vegas team has been very disappointing. They've lost 7 out of 10. I really believe that they've got back at home and said, listen, enough is enough of this. I expect them to come out flying. I like them to score lots of goals tonight, maybe a 5-3, 6-3 game. I like Vegas minus 1.5. I like Vegas in regulation. You might even want to put Vegas minus a half first period. I got to believe Gallant's going to light a fire under these guys because enough's enough. They have one of the most talented teams in this league. Fleury's going to play in net tonight. I like Vegas all day long. You're right. I can't lay 230. I can't take Chicago plus because Vegas is a play here.
Andrew, talk to me.
Everybody loves Vegas at home. It's kind of like in college sports, people like Hawaii at home. It's just a home advantage. Yeah. People just like betting these teams at home. The thing is, do you think they're going to turn it around or are they going to continue their slump? Because Vegas isn't playing Vegas hockey right now. They have 3 straight losses to Toronto, Washington, Detroit. So if you want to be a good hockey team, you got to be able to win on the road and at home. But like Buster said, you come home. I think they're going to be feeling good, feeling fired up. But the angle that we're looking at here is, will they be ready for that first game after their road trip? And that's what I'm questioning. And the way I see it, I'm expecting a lower scoring game. I think it'll be kind of a hard checking. Both teams kind of feel the process out early on, and we're seeing a 6.5 total. Public's hammering the over. I like the under here, and the under's actually been a huge trend for Chicago against Western Conference opponents. And I saw a stat today: 10 of the last 14 games for Chicago have gone under in the first period. So Little shout out to Alex B. Smith's favorite type of bet. And, I think I would look at that as well. We got Robin Leonard and Marc-Andre Fleury between the pipes. And, it could be a good game. And, if I was to look at this game, I would look at the plus 1.5 puck line for Chicago at minus 125. I think it's a close game, very tight game. And even if the Vegas Golden Knights win, I think it's by just one goal.
I've never taken a plus 1.5 in my life. That's the show, boys. Buster Sports from WagerTalk.com, Andrew McInnis from SportsMemo.com. I thank you both for joining us, listeners. Thank you for being so loyal to Puck Time. I read the comments every day, and it just makes my day. I mean, we put a lot of hard work into this. There's a lot of preparation that goes in to this show, and it's a show that's very important to me. Tomorrow's show, Alex B. Smith and Dave Koken. We'll see you then. Later, boys.
Thanks, Lawrence.